awesome. It's so nice to meet you.
And you, thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. Can you tell us like a little bit about you? Like, you're obviously not Canadian, right? Or do you just like to have an English accent, like for fun?
No, I'm originally from England and I've been in Canada for maybe, I think it's coming up on 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And I become a citizen actually in a month's time. Like I've been waiting because of the pandemic for the ceremony. So
Oh,
I'm
really?
officially dual citizen, but no, I'm from across the pond. And this accent is completely real. I came here just on a whim and luckily acting just took off. I think the accent
You
helps.
seem like you're such a natural born actor, so that's really
Well,
cool.
my mum's always told me that. I'd done Supernatural. I think
Oh,
every actor in Canada has been in Supernatural though, so that's not.
wow.
And I even did
That's
a
pretty
film
neat.
with Kevin Costner called Let Him Go.
Oh,
I've been quite lucky.
it's so funny because people draw parallels between Yellowstone and Heartland, even though I feel like they're not at all the same. They're like they're like opposites.
I finally started watching it probably 3 weeks ago, Nita. It is not Heartland.
No,
The
no.
only correlation is there's a ranch.
Right, exactly.
That's it. And then it
And the cowboy.
stops there.
Sometimes, I mean, the cowboy hats, but you're right. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's so different. I think that's what's so important about Heartland is
Yes, yes,
it's so family friendly.
yes.
And I know that sometimes can sound cliche and corny,
But
but it
it's not
is.
in that way. It's like family friendly, but it's not at all the stereotypically family friendly. It has so many creative storylines. It's just an amazing show.
Like when people say it has the traditional family values, I get that, but it
Yeah.
also isn't scared of going in on different stories to
Yes.
bring that conversation into people's living rooms at a family friendly level. You
Yes.
know, like not everybody's married or there's relationships breaking down. There's all these kind of interconnected issues, which I
Yeah.
think it's so great.
And I think you said in the blog, you said it's a light in the darkness. I love that the way you put that. It's very positive. It's not just like the family friendly, but it's such a positive show, and you don't find that. Everything's about murder, crime, you know,
Yeah.
and and then there's Heartland, and it's such a
We've sort of gone too far that way, I find.
yes, yes.
And that's why I'm so grateful to be a part of this show. I'd never really watched the show before because obviously I'm new to this country-ish. I
Yes,
was just settling, but it just didn't initially seem like a show I would watch. But
right.
my eyes were open as soon as I obviously had to watch it for the audition. I was like, wait, this is actually surprisingly
Good,
universal in its
excellent, right?
appeal.
Yeah, yeah, surprisingly real. That's another thing. It's
Yeah.
so realistic. You can find parallels. Almost everyone that I've met who's a fan has found some parallel between a storyline in Heartland and their own life.
So many people have
Yeah.
messaged me on just the 2 years I've been in the show and how much it touches their life and
Yes,
again I know it's cliche but it's so true with this
yes,
show. They say this situation helped me through this, it didn't make me feel alone,
yes,
or this show provides me with comfort.
yes.
It's amazing what this show does for people.
I've actually had people message me about they've had like someone die in their family, and they said just watching Heartland kept them going. I had
Yeah,
COVID last month,
yeah.
and I felt like watching the show again actually made me get better. I know that sounds very strange.
No, I completely get it. Honestly, I mean, I mean, not to, I shouldn't really bring it up because it's kind of controversial, but with Ty passing away in
Yes,
14, as much as that's so heartbreaking for so many people,
yes,
and beyond the actor leaving, the story, as much as it's not what everybody would have hoped the story would have gone into,
right.
it's a true reflection of life because nobody wants to lose anyone at any moment
That's
in
right.
their life, but death is an inevitable of
Yeah,
life.
you're
So
right.
for Amy to deal with that, of course, we wish she never went through it. We never want any of our loved ones to go through any of that. But I think it was so good the way that the writers did it because people had
Yeah.
something to draw on. And I think some people need to remember that when they're like, how could they do this? But it
Yeah,
really did something
yes,
important for
they
a
need
lot
they
of
did.
people.
Now I know Heather Conkey, she's one of the main writers. She is
Yeah,
so good. She's just amazing.
she
I
did
love
it amazingly. They did, and they really did it justice. And I think the way that Amy's journey has gone on from there, they're
yeah.
still honoring his memory.
And that shows how important the show is to people. People like you, the actors go on the show, and at first they might not know a lot about Heartland, and then it affects them and it changes their life.
Yeah.
I think that's what's so amazing about it.
And it's turned my life around. You
That's
know, I know it, and that's why I feel like I'm as much as of a fan as all the fans, because
yeah.
I'm so appreciative to the show because I got the part during the middle of the pandemic.
Oh yeah,
So it
tell
was
us
a
about your
moment.
audition. We want to hear
Oh,
about
of course. Yeah. Sorry, I talk a lot, Nita. I'm
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
sorry.
You're awesome. No, it's great.
No, well, the audition was in the middle of the pandemic, and obviously I wouldn't say middle, beginning. So we were all like, what's going on? When you literally couldn't leave the house. And nobody knew if you could even touch something outside. So it was just inside with your hazmat suit on, not doing anything. And I got this email from my agent, and I just thought, surely they can't be filming something right now.
Right.
But I obviously put everything into it, because I was like, this would be perfect for something to do. If it ever happens, will it film? But when I got the audition through, I thought, they've got the wrong guy for this, because obviously I sort of hadn't concept an idea of what the show was.
Yes.
And I just couldn't see a British person. I just didn't understand how they would fit it in.
Oh, right. As a mayor's assistant, he's not actually from Hudson. Like, how's that going to work?
Yeah, I couldn't connect those dots, and they hadn't when you get an audition, you don't get that much of a backstory.
Oh,
I thought, I bet they're just wanting a generic Canadian for this role. But I, of course, did it. And after I sent off the tape to my agent, I just thought, forget about that. That's never going to happen. Obviously, because I'd worked for that production company before, I didn't know this, but Michelle told me after. I already pretty much had the role before I auditioned.
Are you serious?
And Heather pretty much wrote it with me in mind, which is great to know now, but I wish I knew that when I did the audition. And I had a Zoom callback. My dogs were just barking upstairs for a second. I had a Zoom callback with Heather and a lot of the producers, and basically they just give you some redirects on and a bit more background then.
Yes.
And then the next minute, it was probably 2 weeks later, and I was in Calgary. Yeehaw!
Oh my goodness! Wow. So they wrote it with you in mind.
Yeah, I think it comes from the character that I was in that comedy that I mentioned earlier called Jan, where I'm this kind of like sassy, sarcastic,
yes,
sort of. I think, what was I? I was a record producer, but then into the assistant role, and so it was pretty perfect.
And that's what Rick is. He's like that sarcastic sort of. I love
yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, and sometimes I really have to take, because again, it's very difficult as an actor, because when you get the script, you see it and you're like, oh, they really want me to like jazz this up. I did find it hard for season 14, because obviously you only get a certain amount of screen time and you're trying to support Lou's storyline.
Yes.
So you have to be careful of not trying to steal the limelight, but still trying to let the audience get to know you.
Yes, but why not?
Have you seen 15 yet, Nita?
No, we haven't. In the US, we haven't seen season 15 yet.
Well, 15 when you finally get it, and I'm hoping it's soon.
Yes, it is.
Normally it's a few months after we've finished airing here.
That's right.
You get to know Rick a little bit more, and the development.
I heard that. I heard his character comes out more in season 15. That's going to be great.
Yeah, I can give you a spoiler.
Oh, good.
You get to meet Rick's mum.
Oh, wow. Oh, neat.
So you get another fellow Brit come over, and we will be on horseback.
Oh, wow. Oh, so do you have a favorite animal actor? I was going to ask you that too.
Yeah, well, the one that I got to work with was called Cowboy.
Really cool name.
And he was a beautiful horse. Me and the actress that played my mother, Gabrielle Rose, we were lucky enough to get sent out to where the Wranglers have their ranch, like the day before filming.
Oh, neat.
And so we had such a fun day learning just a little bit, because I've done a bit of English riding,
so you have,
but I'd never done any Western, obviously, because we don't have that back home.
Really? So
no, not really. Because I suppose Western's more for like the work side of it and long distances and cattle drives and stuff.
Yes, it's a very.
And the English side of it, in England, we don't have that big, massive spaces. So I think it was more about the pageantry and, you know, the fox hunting and all.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was great to be able to relax into Western a bit more.
How did you like
And
it? Did you like Western riding?
I do, and I still go riding here in Toronto, but I still do English because that's what they seem to have here.
Okay.
But soon as the weather's better and the snow's thawed, I'm going to be doing some more Western because I wanted to be able to, I want to be able to just go.
Yes.
But I have done like trail rides and stuff out in Calgary, Western style. I just absolutely love it.
So are you it seems like you have dogs. You're a big animal person, it sounds like.
I do. I'm pretty much Amber, but in the city. Dream is to do what Amber did and transfer that to the country. And I'm hoping if we get a season 16, that's going to be my push
right now.
It is, isn't it?
It's very positive. People love season 15
because it was the top five streamed in the world.
That's
with
right.
220 billion minutes viewed or something, which is like, how am I a part of that?
It's
but I brought 4 of my dogs with me to Canada when I moved here 10 years ago. How many do you have? I have 5.
Oh wow.
And I have 1 cat, which I originally was allergic to, but the Humane Society had a big issue with how many they had, so I was like, I can't see an animal go.
Wow.
And then 2 rabbits and a lovebird. All of those animals I had never had any interest in having, but the Humane Society kept calling me going, can you have this? And I was like, I don't know what to do, but sure.
That's sort of what happened to Amber with Ranger, with her latest baby horse, where they called her and they said, can you take this horse?
Well, we have an inside joke because when I've been out to visit her, she always says, okay, well, you should only get a certain amount of animals and take your time. And then every time I check Instagram, there's another one. So I'm like, how have you got another?
Yeah, how's it gone for you? I was going to ask you that. So how is it working with Amber Marshall? And like you said, you've been to her farm.
She is an amazing human being. Of course, there are so many similarities between her and Amy because I think that's what's great about Heather and the writing room on the show. They obviously have an idea of a character, but then they get to know you as an actor and try and bring the best parts of you into that. So there is a lot of Amber in Amy. So I think everyone can sort of get a gist of what she is like.
Yes.
But beyond that, I think she's really funny. She's so authentic and genuine.
You're right. You don't see her on the show that much. They only show that on very few episodes where they show that funny side. And I'm like, she is funny when they show that.
There's an episode in season 15 where they all go on a cattle drive and there's a really funny moment with Amber and Michelle. So I think it's episode 5. And I mean, it's only a slight moment, but Amber really made me chuckle. But no, I think I've only ever had 1 scene with Amber and I don't think I even spoke in it. So that just is kind of a testament to show you that even though I've barely been on screen with her, I've built such a good relationship with her. And that's why the show, I think, has the longevity, because as soon as you get on that set, she comes and welcomes you and she makes you feel a part of it, regardless of where you are in the pecking order. You feel important.
Yeah, she's such a real person.
Yeah. And so yeah, I'm really grateful to her. And considering, obviously, after 15 years, I've worked on shows and some people cannot be very nice on those kind of shows, which you can get, you know, they see actors coming in and going in and out.
Yeah.
But Amber is just the polar opposite. And she's just really someone to look up to in the industry, to stay grounded.
Yes, grounded. It's a good way to put it.
And I think even me and Michelle said, like, she could be a diva, but she's not. You know,
right. If she wanted to,
If she wanted to, I think she's even admitted to me. She said she used to be a little bit of a one at the beginning, but that was just because of her age.
Yeah, right. She was a teenager. She was. It's like,
I mean, can you imagine having that journey of 15 years being on the screen, growing up, building your life? It's just amazing.
It is amazing.
But yeah, Amber is a complete doll. And I love her to bits. And I'm so grateful that, because I know she has a hand in the casting and what stories happen, because she's a consulting producer. And just to be welcomed beyond being on the show, like going to her house and stuff. She's a lovely, lovely person.
And I've heard everyone on the set, they say it's like a family there. They're just, it's something different about the Heartland set compared to other sets, like you said.
It really, I think it's something to do with Calgary.
Yes, I was gonna wonder.
Really do.
It's such a beautiful setting. People feel relaxed. It's not stressful.
Everyone knows everyone. Everyone knows everyone's business for sure, but in a good way.
Yes.
Everyone, you feel like when you sit in that makeup chair after your call time, and you sit there with Annie, Sasha, Donna, and Carly, all the makeup and hair women, and you can just sit there and tell them everything, and you know that's going nowhere.
That's awesome.
You know, it's such a tight-knit, supportive and protective group. And I think that's how the show gets to be so great, because we all just trust each other when we're in scenes.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's just no hierarchy. It's really camaraderie.
And how is it working with Chris Potter? Has he ever directed any episodes you've been in?
Yeah, I think he's directed 4 of my episodes. And he, again, I mean, we know he's hilarious.
Yes, he is.
But he is so talented. And I think that's the difference, not to knock directors down when they're just directors, because obviously that is what they do and they do it very well. But it was one of the first times I'd ever had someone who's also an actor direct me. Mm-hmm. And for him to walk in once he shouted cut, and he'd come in and he'd whisper and be like, why don't you try this? Why don't you do this? I know you can do that. See, when I do it, like, and you know, he made you feel really safe.
Yes.
And yeah, I really appreciated his direction. And but I do know, I have asked him, would you prefer to if you had to pick direct or act? Mm-hmm. He says he will always pick acting. So it just shows you the love never goes.
Yes.
But that's, again, Heartland's so great because they're so encouraging to their cast members, and they've let Michelle and Chris now direct. So
oh wow.
Yeah, so Michelle did 2 episodes in season 15.
I know you work with Michelle a lot. Is she your best friend on the set, you'd say? Or
well, we spend the most time together. So it's inevitable that we've built a closer bond.
Yes.
And she's very city-ish, and she's moved around a lot like me. So we have a lot in common. So yeah, I do, if I ever need any advice, if I'm doing another audition for something, I can always pick up the phone to her. It is very friendly with Michelle, but I'd say best friends on set are actually the people that you don't see. It's people like the PAs or the people, or even the transport. There's Nancy who picks me up in the morning from the hotel, and we have such a giggle and a laugh. The makeup girls, as I say, that's like therapy when you sit in that chair. Yeah, everyone on there is just amazing, and I love it.
Is anything really, what's the funniest thing that's ever happened on the set to you? Any like funny stories?
I would say when Chris was directing, actually, in season 14, I don't know if you remember, when it was the big episode Through the Smoke, episode 4.
Oh yeah.
When the train derailment could have done the chlorine explosion.
Yes, I remember.
That's a memory for you. I remember.
They had great music in that episode too. Just the way.
Yes,
so
it did. It was very cinematic.
Well,
when Michelle Lou was doing the announcement on the television to Hudson to say, you've got to evacuate, this issue is serious.
Yeah, I remember that.
Chris was telling me and Gabriel, who is Peter, to be pulling faces at her. And when she said evacuate, instead of being serious, he told me and all of the extras to shout, ah! And then scream and run the other way. And Michelle just stood there going, what's happening? And we've not got the bloopers yet.
Do you have any storylines you can tell us about that you would hope they maybe have on season 16?
I mean,
for Rick,
I can tell you what I would hope for. I think I've said this before, but I always send a cheeky pitch to Heather about what I would like my character to do, because I'm all in, you know. You can tell. The worst that they can say, the worst they can say is no. you know?
Right, exactly.
So I've tried to implement more horses into my storyline because
Yes, that would be
Lou's
so
not going to
cool.
be, I don't think Lou can be mayor forever. I mean, that's inevitable,
Right.
isn't it?
Rick could compete against Lou to become mayor. I was always thinking like maybe that could be a storyline.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's a good one. But I'm trying to, at the beginning, how I said I was unsure on how Rick ended up in Hudson. I
Right.
would like more of a backstory about that. So maybe he's got a Canadian relative or some kind of business reason that
Yes.
he moved there to
Yes.
do with horses, or to do with cattle or something
Or
like that.
something
And so even
consistent.
though I'm not the cattle guy, I've
Right.
got a connection to it for me to then impose myself in
Oh
there.
yes, right. Like somebody dies, you take over their ranch.
Yeah,
That
exactly. And I don't know what I'm doing.
yes.
And like my cousin's there who hates me and he's like, he doesn't know what he's
Oh,
doing.
that's such a cool. You should be one of the writer. You should be a writer. I mean, that's a great story.
And then I'm no good on horses, so I have to go to Amy,
Yes.
sorry, and then she's going to help me in the round pen, and I have an
Right.
issue with the horse. There's so many.
There's
And
so
then I want to
stories.
get Amy friends. That girl needs so many. Since Soroya
Yeah.
left, I mean,
It's true. She does need some friends. You're right.
so I want to be her friend, and maybe we can sit there and say horrible things about Lou. I don't know.
You know what? The fans would love that because people love to hate Lou. Like I didn't realize how many people
They
really
do.
don't like her character.
And I've sort of picked that up. I didn't know
Yes.
that coming in, but I've noticed a lot of people do not like that character.
That's right. That's why they love Rick, because Rick's almost like sort of combative with her, and they like that sort of snarky.
Because at first, when I read it and I was being that combative, sarcastic guy to her, I thought, oh my God, people are going to hate me.
No,
And then I realized they weren't too keen on her, so they ended up loving me.
Yeah, exactly.
This was a lot of fun. I love talking to people about Heartland. It's
Me
my
too.
number one. I've become so obsessed in the last 2 years.
Well, that's
It's
the thing you said
unbelievable.
about the light and the darkness. There's no other shows like Heartland, and it's a very special. It's a phenomenon. It's not a show.
I know.
It really is. It's
And
really
I think
special.
so many people will be lost without
Yes.
it. Obviously, we can
Yes.
keep on reliving it and watching it, thankfully.
Yes.
But I just think there is so many possibilities.
Yes, just
and
like we were talking, those
storylines to
storylines.
tell.
I would love to see those storylines. And I know so many people that are going to watch this, the same thing. They would love to see those storylines.
And for Amy's not, she's not restarting, because that would be an insult to Ty and their relationship, but she's growing with that situation. And so these people have been in our living rooms for 10 years. So we built a relationship. So support her in it.
Yes.
You know, so as if she was your friend.
Exactly.
We've got to help her through this transition.
And it's not like Amy, there's so many cool. Rick is a great new character. There's so many cool characters. Drew's character, Logan.
And in season 15, you're going to meet the new Katie Bay McPherson.
Yes, exactly.
And Bay, I'm not even exaggerating, is an amazing actress. She brings such life to Katie and a maturity as well, while still having that child.
There's a lot of comedy with Katie too, which is great.
I think there's so many opportunities. It's going to be great.
I think people love the funny episodes of Heartland too. I mean, there's a lot of drama and seriousness, but the funny episodes really get to people. You know,
if you notice, they do sort of yo-yo from the deep to the comedy to the because that's what we need. That's what life should be.
That's what life is,
reflecting reality.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Nita. Thanks for watching. Thank you, darling. It was a pleasure.
What a great guy and a great actor, and so passionate about the show. It's just awesome. For more great videos, please like and subscribe. Bye for now.